Pretty crazy. When I was just 18, I decided to start a new chapter in my life, say goodbye to Argentina, and move to Australia to study an architecture degree. Yes, I know what you're thinking, Australia, where the Hemsworth brothers are from. But it's not only that, it's also home to the most beautiful sandy beaches, countless surf spots, wildlife, and amazing locals. I hope my experience will inspire you to do the same. It's always a good time to seek new adventures, make new memories, meet new people, and turn to a new page in your life. Hi friends, hope you're all doing amazing. For those who don't know me, my name is Kayla and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you guys a very exciting topic, which is my experience studying in Australia. So for those who are new to my channel, when I was 18 and I had just finished high school, I decided to move to the Gold Coast to study at Bond University. And honestly, it was one of the best decisions of my life. I had the best time there and it was an amazing experience. Met the most genuine and lovely people, and yeah, I'm very excited to share every single detail of my whole experience with you guys in today's video. Also, I already made another video talking about the application process to get into an Australian university, so please make sure to check that out. And also, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel and to turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever I update, and also to leave a like and comment on this video if you have any further questions about this topic, because I love talking about it. So there is a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna start from the beginning. So how it was like leaving Argentina, leaving all my friends, saying my final goodbyes, and then how it was settling in there and orientation week and all of that. And I'm gonna show some pictures up here too, so I can talk about them and you can get a better idea of what my experience was like. So I left Argentina, I think the 30th of December, so it was almost New Year's, and I think we spent New Year's on the plane actually. I was starting uni on the 8th of January, and that meant we had like a few days to travel around Australia and for me to settle in with my family because they all came with me, so both my parents and then my two younger brothers. And we would just like spend a few days traveling before I had to actually start uni. It was super helpful to have my family there for my adaptation because I had never been to Australia before, not even visited. I didn't know anyone there, so it was very scary. Me being 18, being like, I've never lived by myself, I've never left my parents, I don't have any friends there. It was so overwhelming, so having them there just like made me feel more at ease. Here are some pictures of my first few days with my parents. This is me crying actually before I left and like saying my final goodbyes to my friends. They all did like a farewell thing for me and it was so nice. Here's a picture of us. They all wore yellow because that was my favorite color back then. Then this is a picture of me crying at the airport the day I left. It was so sad because I had to say goodbye to one of my best friends that day and to my grandma, and I love my grandma more than anyone else. Here's a picture of me as soon as we got there. We went to a hotel that was close to the university and we just drove past it, and I got a better idea of what it looked like and what I was getting myself into. The university actually met my expectations. So this is a Bond University campus. It is amazing. It's like around a lake. It has the most amazing views. It's a pretty small campus, but it is 10 out of 10. Here's a short video of what the campus looks like. This was my first ever time seeing it in person and it was so amazing. It is so close to the beach too. It's like a 10-minute drive. And I love surfing, so that was a huge plus for me. Apart from that, the first few days we were there, we just spent in the Gold Coast. So we went to some beaches, we went to the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary with my family, which was super cool because I had never seen a kangaroo or a koala before. So that was one thing checked from my bucket list. And I think on that same day, I had to move in to my dorm on campus. And I was staying at one of the residences there. I will talk more about that in the next section of the video, but yeah, that day I had to move in and I kind of had to say goodbye to my family. They were still going to be in Australia for a whole other month, but they were going to travel around different places, so I wasn't going to see them as often. It still felt good that they were going to be like around in case I needed anything. So I moved in, I met my roommate, and she was very nice. And then we had like a little talk in our res hall, so like they would kind of following all the rules and all of that. And that was super scary for me because my parents had just left. I was by myself. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually here. I'm actually in Australia. What am I doing? And it all just hit me at once, like, you got yourself into this, you're by yourself, your parents are gonna leave, you're in Australia, you have no friends. And I was like, oh my god, like, what do I do? So my mom was in my room at that point. She had come in to drop some stuff, and she was like, you have to leave your room and actually go out there and try to make friends. So I was like, oh my god, I'm so scared. And I'm actually a pretty shy person as soon as you meet me, so I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Anyways, I did it. I like put myself out there. I went outside and I literally walked up to this group of people. I had never met them before, and I was like, oh, are you guys going to like this lecture thing? And they were so nice. They were one of my first few friends there apart from my roommate, and they kind of just talked to me, and yeah, we became really close friends after that. But they were American exchange students. They weren't from Australia, so that was like the first few interactions I had there. And here is some photos with them. Oh, and then after that we got free pizzas at one of the dining places at Bond, and I went there with my roommate because I kind of lost these group of American friends after that lecture. So I met up with my roommate again, and we went to get those free pizzas, and then we went back to our room, and then we met up with other people from our hall, and we went to one of the common rooms and just had like a chat there and got to know each other. That was my first day. And then after that, I kind of gradually started meeting people at orientation week. Orientation week is super important if you are an international student, even if you're from Australia, honestly, because it is such a good way to meet people and put yourself out there. I was so scared that I was going to get there and everyone was going to have their group of friends and everything, but it was not like that. Everyone was kind of in the same boat as me, so it was such a good opportunity to meet people and to make friends. During our orientation week, there were so many activities and I enrolled in some of them. So there were like parties and stuff too, but I went to like a trivia night. Here's a photo of that. Here's another fun photo I got after a treasure hunt we had around campus with my roommate and my South African friend. Then I also went to a color party. Here's a really bad quality video of that night. And after each party, there were like buses from the university that would take you out to the clubbing area. So how cool is that? And yeah, this party, like the color party, was in the middle of this forest that we have within campus. It was so much fun. Even people underage could go, but they just couldn't get drinks. They had like a different wristband or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But I was 18 already, and in Australia, the legal drinking age is 18. So I had a few drinks there. It was fun. And that day, actually, before that, I met like one of my best friends to this day. And she was from South Africa. And I used to live in South Africa. So kind of like became really close super quick because we both didn't know anyone, and yeah, she became one of my best friends. But yeah, having her there made it so much fun, and we kind of got to know each other more that day. So yeah, the parties definitely are a great way also to meet people that first week before you start class. We had a few other parties. There was like a cowboy themed one. And before you ask me anything, yes, that is a mechanical bull on campus. And there was like a pajama party as well. So a lot of partying the first week, which is expected. That's just starting uni, first year, orientation week. What else would I be doing? And honestly, no comments for the background in this one. There was also a trip to the shopping mall, and then this like barbecue at the beach. So I joined everything that I could and everything that I had time for, and I highly recommend doing that because it was one of the main ways I met friends. I will get into my first week of class now, but before that, here's a video of me before heading to class on my first day. I went there to study a Bachelor of Architectural Studies. So before we started, we had kind of what's called a design charrette. So you kind of partnered up in groups with people from years above you, and you had to create a design or like a project in a few days. You were given a prompt, and we had to create a little beach shack kind of thing. We went to a site visit, and the group I was put in was pretty small. So it was another guy from my year and then a girl that was in her master's, like doing her master's of architecture already. And it was actually very fun. I had no idea what I was doing because I had never done anything related to architecture, but it was a great way to kind of put myself out there again and see what the degree was about, and I actually really enjoyed it. and then we had to present that, and I was so scared that day, but I made it through and I survived. And then presentations happen all the time in architecture, so it was a great way to like get me used to that. I also met like all the other people in my year. The good thing about Bond University is that classes are super small, so I started my degree with 20 people and I finished my degree with the same 20 people. And the other great thing about Bond and studying architecture is that you get your own desk for the whole 2 years. And that's so great because we're doing like models and building stuff all the time, so you don't have to be taking anything home. Also, the architecture building is open 24 hours, and that is amazing too. I will put some photos up here as well as I speak of my desk and me at the architecture building with my friends. We used to have super late nights. I think it is pretty well known that architecture students don't sleep much. We stay up till very late, and that is true. So here's me being crazy at like super late hours of the night. Don't be surprised. It used to happen all the time. Kind of like smell too much super glue and then you get a bit crazy. And this is how you end up. But I did love my architecture degree, and throughout the degree I made so many great friends who are like my best friends now. They are all amazing and so talented too. And yeah, I overall enjoyed my architecture degree so much. We did have to present a lot. It was like a lot of hands-on work, building stuff, building models. I thought you had to be great at drawing, but honestly, only the first semester we had a drawing class, and then all the other ones we kind of went into all the digital and technological aspects of it. So you kind of stop drawing pretty early on, except all the conceptual and like design process at the beginning, which is just sketching, and you don't really have to be great at drawing in order to do that. And guys, the architecture building is amazing. Here's a photo of it. This building honestly became my home. I would sleep here lots of days. I still don't know how I made it through that degree sometimes, but I'm here and I've done it. And so you can get a better idea of what I did during my architecture degree. Here's a model that I did within a group of 3 for our final presentation in the 5th semester. Bond degrees are accelerated, so you finish beforehand because you do fit 3 semesters per year. And that is pretty good because I did my architecture degree in 2 years instead of 3, which is amazing. So I luckily graduated. Here's a few photos of me at graduation, which was in February 2021, so like 2 years after my degree. I can't believe it's almost been a year or more since I finished. I feel old. Time goes quick, guys. So if you're watching this and you're 18, please make the most of it and enjoy uni, because you will feel old once you're done and you won't know what to do with your life. And adult life isn't as great as they make it seem. I lost track of what I was saying. Let me take a moment to read my notes. Few moments later. So I want to quickly talk about all the campus facilities that there are at Bond University. We had like 3 libraries. Although there were 3 libraries, I'd spent most of my time in the main library, which had like a cafeteria and stuff in it. And there was a multimedia learning center, the MLC, and that's where you would go to study if you were staying up till late, because I think it's open 24 hours. And then there was a law library. I didn't go to that one much because I feel like that was just law students. And there was volleyball courts. There was a huge gym. At the gym, they had group classes, and these were amazing. They had almost everything. They had Pilates, they had boxing, they had yoga, they had TRX, they had functional training. Anything you can think of, they honestly had, and they were so fun. Would go there with my friends after class or before class, and it was amazing. There was a bar called Don's, and they had parties here every Thursday. I'll get into parties like in a bit, but great parties here. And I also wanted to mention all the different like dining options that they were on campus. I was vegan for most of my time while being there, and I feel like they still had a pretty good amount of options. Not as many as I would have liked, but I think they were changing that towards the end, which was pretty good. But the main places you would eat at was Lakeside. That was the main place to go and have lunch and dinner. Then there was Fund Express, which is like a little convenience store, and it's pretty good. It has a little health shop part, and I would go there all the time when I was in my prime gym time. It was pretty good. They had some like protein bars and stuff. And then there was a few cafes. So there was one in the main library, I think it was called Papyrus Cafe. Then there was one in the Med building, which was Kinetic Cafe. And there was like a more expensive dining place, but I never went to that one, so I can't tell you much about it. Food at Bond is pretty good. They change the menu every 2 weeks, I think, sometimes more often. They have a salad bar. And as I said, they have quite a few options if you're vegan or gluten-free, so don't even worry about that. So while I was staying on campus, they gave you this card that you did have to fill up with money, and there was like a minimum amount that you had to put in there and use it towards dining on campus. And I do recommend getting the lower rates because I did have friends who I used it up pretty quick, but because I'm vegan and I feel like the food I got was a bit more expensive. But I know most of my friends didn't use theirs up, and they just had to like end up buying so many things at the convenience store at the end, so that money wouldn't go to waste because you can't get it back in cash. Off-campus dining options, you have just mainly Market Square, which is this little area close to campus. It's like 2 blocks away, and it's pretty good. It has a few restaurants, an amazing sushi place which is pretty cheap called On Sushi. You had a Subway there, and you had another like sushi train and a few cafes, so there was lots of options around. Blackboard was so good. It was a breakfast place, but they like also served lunch and stuff, but more like breakfast food, and they had this amazing acai bowl. Honestly, it was probably one of my favorite acai bowls I've ever tried, and I'm here now and I'm craving it all the time. Now I'm gonna talk about staying on campus. I only stayed on campus for 1 semester, and I stayed in the AC, which was the accommodation center, and it was probably one of the worst buildings to stay at while I was studying there because it was one of the oldest ones and it was further away from like where all the fun was. And I'm going to talk about each specific building. So this is the accommodation center where I stayed, and I'll show you a little video of my room. It's pretty bad, but I got it while I was there. This was my room, and it was pretty basic. I kind of shared a common room with my roommate, but we didn't share an actual room. So we both had our separate rooms, and we just shared a common area which had a tiny fridge, and then it had the bathrooms. So you don't get a kitchen on any of the Bond residences because you actually are not allowed to cook. You have to eat on campus. You still had a microwave and stuff like that, but you didn't have an actual stove to cook anything on. So after living on campus, I moved with one of my best friends, so my South African friend that I met at the beginning, and we moved to a place that was in Varsity, so still near the area. It was probably a 5-minute drive. I didn't have a car while I was there though, because I still didn't have my license while living there, but I used to take the bus, and there was a bus stop like across the streets from where we were staying, and it would take me probably around 15 minutes to get to uni, so it wasn't bad. I could also walk there. It was a half-an-hour walk, so on days I wasn't tired, I would definitely walk. And here is a little video of my room there. It was an apartment with 2 bedrooms, so one for my friend, one for me, and we each had our own bathrooms, and we had a kitchen and a living room and a balcony, and the building was pretty cool. We also had a pool downstairs, so it was great living here. It was close to campus and everything, and definitely it's cheaper than staying on campus, but I think for me, if I were to go back and do things again, I would definitely stay on campus at least for my whole year, because it was very stressful, like moving around and having to go back and from uni to my place where I could just like walk home while I was on campus. And especially being an architecture student where so many nights we stayed up till late, I didn't have a car and the buses would kind of stop by midnight, so there were so many times I had to ask someone to drop me off, and I just felt really bad. If you are young and you still haven't lived by yourself, stay on campus for the whole year. Just it's going to be easier for you, and it just makes things so much better. because you won't have to worry about getting food or paying electricity, paying water, and all of those extra things, and you just feel like more at home. So due to all these things that I said before, I wanted to move to a place closer to campus. So my friend ended up moving again with her boyfriend, and I just ended up finding another place. So I moved to this share house that was a block away from campus, and it was with 5 other girls that studied at Bond University. I didn't know them, but I found it on Flatmates, which is like this website where you can find people who are looking for roommates. So I ended up living here for almost a year. I started at a bigger room within the house, and it was so cool, and then ended up moving to another room. And I got to meet lots of new girls that I feel like I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet otherwise. And I think it was a really good atmosphere. There were people in and out of the house all the time, and it was just like when COVID hit, I was staying there, so it was good to have people around and with me. The only bad thing is there was lots of bugs there, like lots of cockroaches, because we are near like an industrial area. So I have the biggest fear of cockroaches, and I think that's the only reason why I didn't enjoy staying at this house so much. But apart from that, it was pretty good, and it was close to campus and close to so many restaurants. So that was pretty good. And then after that, I moved in with some friends that weren't from my degree, so they weren't from my architecture degree, but I kind of met while I was at uni, and they're still some of my close friends still to this day. We all like used to go surfing together. And yeah, here's a little video of my room, and in this place I shared a bathroom with one of my friends, so it was just like having our own bathroom, honestly. And then after that, I finished uni, and I ended up moving with one of my friends closer to the beach. So something I forgot to mention, there is 5 accommodation buildings you can stay at on campus. So there's the AC, which is the one I stayed at. In front of that, you have North Tower, and then you have South Tower on the other side of the lake, and then you have the blocks, which have like the A and B blocks. So I'm quickly gonna give you a run through of like which ones are the best in my opinion. So if you like very like social life and all of that, I would recommend the blocks. And how they work is you get your own room, but you share a bathroom with your like whole corridor, and like the bathrooms are separated by like guys and girls. So we have like communal showers in there and like toilet stalls. And all my friends that stayed there really liked it, apart from the fact that there's like parties there very often. So that's the only bad thing, I guess. Like, it's good because you can party, but when you want to study, there's sometimes like parties and like people staying up too late for longer. So in that sense, it's not good. But apart from that, it's pretty good. And the blocks have a courtyard in between like A block and B block, and that courtyard is always full of people, full of life. So if you do like being around lots of people, I feel like that's where most of like the first year students go. Then you have the accommodation center, the one I stayed at, and then South Tower is honestly amazing. They've remodeled that one, and it is like the newest one now, I'm pretty sure. And in that one, you get your own room and your own bathroom, and that is pretty cool. I mean, it's the most expensive one, I think, but I had a friend, like one of my best friends lived there for most of the time she studied, and she loved it. Like, she was in love with that building. It is pretty cool. And then on the other side of the lake, in front of the accommodation center, you have North Tower. And North Tower is pretty good. I'd say it's more similar to the accommodation center in a way, but you do get rooms that you share with other people, and you have rooms that are like the deluxe premium that I talked about, which is the one where you don't share the room, but you share the bathroom and like a tiny living room. You also have lots of off-campus accommodation nearby. So you have the Reserve, which I stayed at, and it's pretty amazing. And you have lots of other campus accommodations. I can leave like a list if you'd like of the top ones in the area and the ones where most people I knew stayed at. So here it is. but there's lots of other places you can find, so do your research and I'm sure you'll find something that's like suitable for you and for your needs. Also, another thing that I wanted to point out while I'm on this topic is the great thing about having a student visa in Australia is that you can work at the same time as you study. So I was working at a Mexican restaurant, which is Guzman and Gomez, and it was really good. They had pretty good hours and it was an amazing atmosphere, and they paid pretty well too. And then I was also working at a seafood restaurant. I didn't work there for too long because that's kind of when I decided to come back home, but it was good experience as a waitress as well. I quickly want to go through what I used to do in like a normal day while I was studying. So my usual routine was waking up early. In Australia, you tend to wake up early. I love my early mornings. I would wake up kind of like at 5:30, go to the gym till maybe 7 with one of my friends. Then I'd come back home, I'd have a shower and then get ready for class, which I usually started at 9. And before that, I'd get like a coffee and eat some breakfast. So I would go to class, and architecture classes went for like almost all day. So sometimes I had class from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon because we had studio classes. So they're just like 2 hours of lectures, and then the lecturers or professors just come around and help you with your design projects. So we had pretty long days, and then in the afternoon I would just get dinner, like a very early dinner with friends, more like 6:30, and I just go back home and talk to my family on FaceTime and do my things and just go to sleep. That's what weekday looked like. And then on the weekends I loved going to the beach. The beaches in Australia are amazing, you probably know that, and the weather in the Gold Coast is good all year round. I'm just a big fan of the beach, so it was the best to sometimes finish class and go for a night swim with my friends. That was one of the most fun things to do. So it wasn't that I only went to the beach on the weekends, I usually went on the week too. So here is what you guys might be wanting to hear too. I'm gonna talk a little bit about social life and parties and all of that scene. So parties, there used to be a party almost every Thursday at Bond University at Don's Tavern, which is the bar that they have there. And it was so fun to go there, honestly. They had like themed parties most days. Let me put some photos up here of some of the parties I went to, because there were so many. And then once a year there was a huge event Bond had, which was called Bond Stock, and this was like 5 straight days of partying, and they would have a party like every other day. So we have like, for example, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and then one on Friday, and then one on Sunday. I only had it 1 year because the second year there was COVID, so we couldn't have this event, but we had a white party, which was the first day of the event. Then we had this like 2000s themed party, which was very fun. And then we had this music festival. And then we had this cocktail event, which was like at a rooftop, and it was amazing. The parties held at Don's were really good. They would go till midnight, and then after that there were buses that took you to Surfers Paradise, which is the clubbing area of the Gold Coast. So that was always fun. And then there was a few other events that they would have, like for example Palaver, which was this fancy event where you would start at Don's and then go to the casino, and there would be music playing there. It was so fun. And then there was also Basic, which was a club. I think it's the Beer Appreciation and Social Intercourse Club or something like that. That's what it stands for. And they would have like a frat party every semester and a few other events like that. So yeah, parties at Bond were great, and I highly recommend that you go to some of them. Not all of them, because you need to study, but some of them I definitely would go to because they're fun and you meet lots of fun people. And then I would also of course love to go to some bars occasionally and some like events that weren't organized by the university. Personally, I loved going to Burleigh or to Mermaid Beach or Nobby's, to like some bars. Burleigh Pavilion, for example, is great on a Sunday night, and there's just lots of fun little places you can find in the Gold Coast to go out and have a few drinks with friends, and that is always great. So yeah, the partying scene is amazing. It's pretty like laid back at the same time, but fun. And that's something I found with Australian people. So you might ask me like, was it hard making friends and stuff? To be honest, I didn't have a problem making friends. I made friends so quick. I feel like Australians are very like fun and genuine people, and I just like our vibes matched, so it wasn't hard, and I just made the most amazing friends, and I love them, and they're the most genuine and nice people I've ever met, and I love that I'll have those connections and those friends forever. So the last thing you might ask me is, were there actually so many spiders and sharks and things that can kill you in Australia? The answer is, I probably saw a spider every day. We kind of get used to seeing them, and you mind your own business, they'll mind their own business, and you'll be fine, guys. You'll be fine. I love surfing, and to be honest, there are sharks, but I didn't see one while I was in the water. There was a few times where like I got to the beach and there was the little sign like warning, shark sighting, and I just wouldn't get in that day. I did see lots of dolphins though, and there was an attack while I was there. In like the beach next to that, and I was in the water at the same time, and that was scary, but I only found out after that, so I didn't get to be scared. And there were probably lots of bull sharks and like sharks as well in the canals in the Gold Coast, so don't go into the canals, okay? Because there's stingrays and stuff too, so better just stay away from the water at night and super early in the morning, and you will be fine. No spider and no shark is gonna kill you. One thing that surprised me in a bad way is the bats there are huge. Like the first time I saw one, I thought it was like a vampire coming to eat me, because in Argentina, I don't know where it's like from, like where you're from, but bats are kind of like this size. I still don't like them, but they're small. But in Australia, they're like this, like literally like half my body. And yeah, maybe it's just in Argentina that they're small, but that was something that was very shocking for me at least. And then also cockroaches there's so many. I don't know if it's like the weather or what, like it's a coastal area, maybe it's that, but like there were so many cockroaches, and I have the biggest phobia, so that was something I struggled with. The cockroaches, enemies, like I'm disgusted by them, I hate them. So yeah, I think that was the last thing I wanted to mention, but if you do have any further questions, please leave them in the comments because I love talking about my experience, and I really do hope I didn't forget anything. I took down notes and I tried to touch on every single topic, but if I did forget anything, please remember my DMs are open too, and I love answering all like the questions I can on this topic. But that is it for now and for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it helpful, and I really hope that if you are considering studying overseas or studying in Australia, that you just go for it, because it is such a good experience and you'll end up with friends from all around the world. So that is my recommendation, and I hope you take it. And apart from that, I hope you all have the most amazing week, and thank you so much for watching my video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.